Hello and welcome to Amanda Widener Wellness. My name is Amanda. I'm so excited to have you here. This is what I eat in a day. So we're gonna have a casual video where I go through all of my meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, if I have dessert, and I'll show you everything that I'm having. And then if I'm preparing anything, I'll bring you into the kitchen while I get it ready so that you can see how I put it together, because I love to eat tasty, lower calorie, higher protein meals with lots of fiber and healthy fats in it so that I can have a really well-balanced, nutritious diet while I try to achieve continued weight loss with the help of my GLP1 medication. So let's get started. But before I do, I just wanted to mention the intention behind my What I Eat in a Day videos are not for you to copy what I'm eating meal by meal. Every single day that I eat looks different than the day before. Some days I need to eat a little bit more because I have to fuel my body for the workouts that I'm doing. Some days I work out quite a bit because I'm a fitness instructor and it's my profession. And other days are more like rest days and I'm fueling my body a little bit less. Your body and your days are going to have different needs than my body and my needs. So I don't want you to copy what I'm doing exactly, but if you see a meal that I'm preparing and you're like, ooh, that looks tasty, feel free to give it a try and see if you can add it into your routine, but just not the whole day. All right, so, and then before I go any further, I also have a disclaimer. I'm not a doctor or a healthcare provider, and while I am a personal trainer and group fitness instructor, I'm not your personal trainer or group fitness instructor, so please speak with your doctor and healthcare team before making any changes to your diet, exercise, or medication regimen. Everything on this channel is based on my opinions and experiences. I would also love it if you would like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Getting those likes and subscribes really helps to push the videos out so that more people can see it, and that helps the channel and the community grow. And I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. Once I get to 1,000, I can offer a little bit more to you, my community. So like when I hit these milestones, more things open up to me on YouTube, and it makes it really fun to add more onto the channel. So my next goal is 1,000 subscribers. I would love your help getting there if you can like and subscribe today. All right, with all that said, first thing I'm having today is a protein coffee. So I brewed a coffee and I put half of a protein shake in here. This is a Premier Protein. I normally try to have like a different flavor for when I make coffees, but I didn't have any, and like I said, we're snowed in, so this is the chocolate peanut butter in here. It's kind of giving like peanut butter mocha, but it's a great way to get my protein in without having to like chug a protein shake. It's cold, so I was really wanting a coffee. So I started with this right away, and it's time for breakfast. So breakfast this morning is going to be an egg white, a turkey sausage patty, and some fruit. So normally if I'm doing like an egg scramble, I will try to add extra fiber in it with adding in like bell peppers and onions, maybe some spinach, that sort of thing. But since we are not able to get to the grocery store, I didn't get groceries. So I'm out of bell peppers and onions and I don't have any spinach. So I'm just gonna do an egg white. I have some cottage cheese. I'm going to blend that up into the eggs. It'll make them really creamy and fluffy and a lot of added protein. And then I'm gonna serve it with some strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries because that's what I have in the house. And then I also have a sausage turkey patty from Jimmy Dean. I'm going to spray the pan with some avocado oil, so I'll get some healthy fat in there. So I've got protein from the eggs and the turkey sausage, healthy fat from the avocado spray, and then I do have fiber from the berries. So it's a nice balanced breakfast. So let's dive into preparing it, and you can see how I put it together. All right, it's time to prepare our meal. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the cottage cheese that I have. This is 1 serving of cottage cheese, that's a ½ cup. And I don't like my cottage cheese chunky, so I'm gonna use an emulsion blender to blend it up. So I'm just going to blend it. You could use like a food processor, or you can skip this part if you don't mind a chunky cottage cheese, but it is not for me. So this is a step I will not skip. And if you like this emulsion blender, I linked it in my Amazon store so you can find it if you're looking for one yourself. They're really handy to have. Before I got one, I was like, I'll never use this. And none of these burners are on, by the way. So if anyone's wondering why I'm just putting a bowl on top of my burner. All right. All right, so that's done. Next, I'm going to actually add my eggs directly into this bowl so I can mix the cottage cheese and the eggs together. So I have 2 eggs. I'm gonna do 1 whole egg and then 1 with just the egg white. So I'm gonna crack that in. Move this over so you can see. Sorry about that sound for a second. All right, there's 1. Now you could use like an egg separator. My mom got me one. I think I mentioned this in a past video. I just never use it. I go old school and just pass the yolk back to back, or back and forth, but she doesn't like doing that. So she got an egg separator to have in my kitchen. All right, so there is my egg. Let me grab something to mix this all up with. I'm also going to put some salt and pepper in here. All right, there's some pepper and some salt. And then I'm gonna break this yolk and just mix this all together. So think like cheesy eggs, but instead of it just being regular old cheesy eggs, I have put a lot of protein in here. So I could use my hand blender, like my emulsion blender, to mix the eggs in, but the last time I did that, they ended up like crazy fluffy. So I'm gonna try it this way this time instead. So I'm just combining these really well. A whisk would probably be the better option, but I don't want to dirty another dish. So, all right, so these are well mixed together. They're kind of this like off-white color. I'm gonna set that off to the side. I'm gonna put my pan back. This is avocado oil. You can use any kind of spray oil you have. This is what we have on hand. Someone asked about this container. It's from Amazon. I linked it in my Amazon store for you if you're looking for one. They're like $8 and we love them. And they come with 2 different kinds of lids. So my husband did this for the grill, but I use it around the house all the time. So, all right, so I've got this on. I'm gonna turn my burner on to like medium, low. And then I'm just gonna add my eggs to it and let this cook up. And I'm just gonna kind of like scramble these because that's gonna be the easiest. If I had like vegetables and stuff, I might try to turn it into more of an omelet, but I'm not in the omelet mood right now. So we're just gonna scramble these up. So next up is, once this starts cooking, I'm going to add, actually I'll do it on a different pan, these Jimmy Dean turkey sausage patties. These are gluten-free, according to their website. I've never had a reaction to them, so that's great. I don't have to make my own turkey sausage, but let's see. 2 of these patties is 120 calories, 8 grams of fat, 1 gram of carb, 1 gram of sugar, 10 grams of protein, but I'm only gonna have 1 because with the cottage cheese and the egg and the egg white, that's a lot of food. And then I have a bunch of fruit too. Like I'm already gonna be struggling to finish this meal. I know if I cook 2 of these, it would just be a waste. So I'm only gonna cook 1. All right. And I'm going to save myself an extra dish, I'm gonna wait until the eggs are cooked and I'm just gonna toss it in the same pan and heat it up there because they're pre-cooked and then frozen, so they don't take very long. They also cook really well in the air fryer. So if you have an air fryer and you really enjoy using your air fryer, then that is a great option. I would normally put mine in the air fryer. I don't know if it has the directions on here. It doesn't. The way that I air fry mine is I stick it in my air fryer at like 360 for about like 6 minutes or so, and that's usually perfect in my Ninja air fryer, but it could be different per your air fryer, so just play around with it. I think I found that online somewhere. Now my son likes the spicy chicken or spicy turkey sausage patties. Like he's obsessed with them. They're not from Jimmy Dean. I think they're like a Great Value brand from Walmart or something. And they're super thin. And so we have to cook those at like 360 for 4 minutes or something, or they just burn. We don't want that. All right, so I'm gonna keep this moving while it cooks up. Now sometimes I will cook a couple of these turkey patties ahead of time and then just put them in the put them in the fridge, in a Tupperware. And then when I'm doing something like this, I'll take them out of the refrigerator and crumble them and just add them into whatever I'm cooking as like a crumbled. But I'm gonna put them on the side today instead. I'm going for simple. It is cold and snowy, which in this area, so I've lived here for about 15 years and we've had snow literally a handful of times since I've moved here. The first time it was just ice. It wasn't really snow. My daughter was about a year old. It was adorable. We put her in a little snowsuit and she hated it. And then it snowed another time. Like we've gotten flakes, but like snow on the ground. And then we got it another time when my son was little. He was maybe 2. My best friend and I took our children to a cabin in the mountains just after Christmas to like let them see the snow. We were going to take them tubing, and we get to this beautiful cabin in the mountains, and there's like no snow on the ground. And we were so disappointed. Like the ski resort did their best to pump in snow so we could still go tubing, and we still had a great time. And then when we were getting ready to leave, there was actually a snowstorm that was coming in, so we had to extend our trip a day because we didn't want to be driving in that. You know, we live in the Charleston area. Our vehicles weren't equipped for that. We weren't experienced driving in the snow. Like, we did the safe thing and waited an extra day. And then once the roads were plowed to come down the mountains, we came home. But that same storm caused snow here, and not just a little bit of snow. It was like an insane amount of snow. There was more snow here at our house in the Charleston area than there was up in the high peaks of the mountains in North Carolina. So it was interesting. My kids got to enjoy it for a day or two, and then it all melted. And then last year it snowed and it stuck as well, which is crazy that we've had it 2 years in a row. So we had snow for like 3 days last year, but it was like really the first day was the only day it was like good snow. And like my kids went out all day and made snowmen and angels, and they'd come in and warm up and they go right back out, and it was so fun. And then this year they're a little bit older, and so they went out in the snow. They were throwing snowballs at each other, and my daughter made a snowman, and my son went wandering through this like wooded area with one of his friends to see all the snow and the trees and stuff. And but they were only out there for like maybe an hour, hour and a half, came back in, went out for a little bit longer, and then came back in. And that was kind of it. So you'll notice that there's some water separation here. That's from the cottage cheese, and that's totally okay. I've got a little space for my sausage over here on the back of the pan. If it mixes in, it's not going to mess with anything. But when I take this out of the pan, I'm going to use a spatula, or a spoon with a hole in it, just so that I'm not getting all of that excess liquid onto my plate, because I don't want that. So let's see if I can find one. So something like this, where there's holes to get so that I don't drag all that liquid with me. These are almost ready. My sausage patty is not, because I just put it on there, so that's going to need a couple minutes. I'm just moving this to put more heat on the sausage patty and less on the eggs, so that way when I eat them, they're like evenly hot. All right. But yeah, so we had snow last year and the kids loved it, and then we had snow this year, and that is completely unprecedented and very strange, and we weren't expecting it. But my kids were thrilled. But that also means that they've been in the house a lot more than normal, which means I'm in the house more than normal, which means I'm currently still in my PJ pants. I mean, it's morning time, but you know. And then that also means they're having like e-learning days from school instead of being at school, because even though we don't have a lot of snow here, and like most of it melted yesterday, the roads iced over. So like everything melted or started to melt, and then it got really cold again at night. And so the roads iced over and the bridges iced over. We have a lot of bridges in this area, and, we're by the water, and we don't have things like snow plows and salt here. So they did their best to prep the roads as they could, but they couldn't prep like residential roads and stuff. It was just like main highways. So you can't put kids on a school bus and, send people to work when you don't have the equipment to properly maintain the roads for safety. So we are trapped here. It'll be business as usual tomorrow, though. Everything will be back to normal. All right, so this is ready. I'm going to go ahead and plate it, and I'll show you what I've got. All right, so I've got my cottage cheese, scrambled eggs, turkey sausage patty, and then I added some strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries to the plate. So that is my breakfast. I'm going to put a little hot sauce on these eggs, and I'm going to enjoy them with the rest of my protein coffee. And I will check in with you when it's time to either make my snack or have lunch, whichever comes first today. All right, I am back. I had a workout, so I apologize for my hair, but I can only wash it so many times in a week, so I just kind of pulled it back nice and slick, and this is what we're working with. And also it's raining now, so the lighting in here isn't great, and I apologize for that, but I actually am about to cook because that's the way my week is, so it's film it now or don't film it at all. So we're about to get a triple dose of my day because I had a change of plans and I've got to pre-cook everything so that it's ready to go so that I'm not tempted to eat off plan when I'm on my way home from sports and the gym and stuff tonight. So we are going to make my lunches. So lunch for today and the remainder of the week, I'm doing sweet potatoes, broccoli, bell peppers. I have a couple of bell peppers, and then I'm going to bake up some chicken, some really well-seasoned chicken, and then I can combine that all together. If I want, I could throw some cottage cheese in there when I prepare it, but I'm going to cook all of that ahead of time and just put them into containers for the week, and that way I can either add like a sauce, like I could put a soy sauce in there, or coconut aminos, or I could serve it with a little Italian dressing, or I could put cottage cheese in it and make it one of those sweet potato bowls, but the food itself will be ready, and that will be the staple for each meal for the next few days. And then we're gonna make dinner. Dinner tonight is chicken thighs with carrots, potatoes, and onion. We're gonna roast the vegetables and we're gonna bake the chicken, but I'm going to sear it first. So season it up and sear it. My husband usually makes this recipe when we have it. He does it better than me, but he is working and our schedule changed. So I have to do it now or we're not gonna have dinner later. And then I'm going to make a snack. So I'm gonna take my snack with me to go. I'm going to make my Greek yogurt bowl that I normally make. So I'm gonna try something different. I got some really good looking apples. So I think I'm gonna take my Greek yogurt with some butterscotch pudding and mix that up and see if it's like kind of butterscotchy caramel flavored. And if it is, I'm going to serve it with some apple slices, and I'll show you how I prepare my apple slices, and maybe I'll throw some strawberries in there too. So that'll be a nice protein and fiber filled snack for later. So let's go ahead and jump into the first thing. The first thing I'm gonna make is my lunch. All right, so I've prepped a bunch of food. It's ready to go in the oven. So what I have here is about 2 pounds of chicken breast. I covered it with a little bit of avocado oil, salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and Italian seasoning. Really generic, really general, easy to mix with other sauces should I want them when I combine this for my lunches later in the week. So I'm gonna pop this in the oven at 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes until the thermometer comes out reading 165 or higher. I also have this is red and yellow bell peppers, but it's an interesting time of the season, so some of them look more orangey even though they're red, but it's just 3 red bell peppers, 1 yellow bell pepper sliced up, a little bit extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper, garlic powder, and then I kind of stirred it all up. This is gonna roast in the oven at 425. I'm gonna check it in about 15 minutes and then I'll make a judgment call how much longer to cook it from there. I also have some sweet potatoes. I poked some holes in them so that they will more easily cook and they won't they'll be nice and even when they come through. These will cook at 425 to 450 for about 40 minutes until a fork will go in nice and smooth and come right back out. If I have to force it through, they're not ready yet. And then the other thing that I have on the stove is my broccoli. I have it in the steamer. That's about, that's 2 heads of broccoli chopped up, water in the bottom of the steamer, ready to cook. So I'm gonna steam the broccoli, I'm gonna stick this stuff in the oven, and we'll check back in when it's all done. All right, so lunches are done and they are in their container. So I'm just gonna show this to you. So I've got the sweet potato, and I'll give you a close-up in a second. So I've got a sweet potato in here, the baked seasoned chicken, there is broccoli on the bottom, and then yellow and red bell peppers. So this is a nice, simple lunch. I'm gonna put lids on these, put some in the fridge, put others in the freezers, and then I can choose how to prepare this however I want. I can mash up the potato, cut up the chicken when I warm it up. I can put it in a bowl, like back in here with some cottage cheese, or I could slice up the chicken and put the sweet potato into chunks with the vegetables on a salad. I could heat it up just like it is and add a little bit of like salad dressing or other sauce to it. Like a little syringe of yum yum sauce, delicious with something like this. So there's lots of ways that I can eat this, but by sticking to the basics, it's gonna keep me from getting like tired of eating the same thing, which sometimes does happen when I meal prep like 5 or 6 meals at a time. So this is one of my strategies to keep my palate from getting really bored when I'm making the same lunches for several days. I've been making a lot of the same meals on repeat through the holidays and stuff, so I just needed some variety without it being overly complicated. So that's lunches. Dinner's cooking, it's time to make my snack. So I sliced up an apple. This is like this beautiful gala apple that I got. I just made sure that I had enough lemon juice to coat the bottom of this bowl. Then I filled it up with water and put the apple slices in there to soak. That's gonna keep it from browning because I'm going to take this with me and I don't want it to be brown when I eat it. So I'm going to make a dip for this. So I'm going to take some Greek yogurt. This is vanilla Greek yogurt. I usually use the Oikos 000, but they were out and this was all they had available. We just had a winter storm come through. So like some of the ingredients I normally want in my grocery list were just not available. So these were my substitutions, what was available, and I'm a big believer in using what you have, so that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna take a serving of this. A serving of this Light and Fit vanilla Greek yogurt is 3/4 of a cup. It's 90 calories, 8 grams of sugar, 14 grams of protein. So it's not my top choice, but it's good, it's fine. It'll work for what I'm doing today. So let me get my serving here. And that's about right. That's how you know I do this every single day. All right, so I'm going to mix in some no sugar added butterscotch pudding. So I'm just gonna start with a tablespoon of the powder because I don't know how strong this is gonna be. This is an experiment with y'all. So I'm gonna dump that in there. And then I'm going to take a tablespoon of no sugar added Cool Whip. Now, I know some of y'all don't like processed stuff, and if that's you, that is totally fine. I'm the only one eating this, so I'm gonna use my finger, don't judge me. But I don't mind using some processed things to help me reach my goals. And so that's my decision, that's my choice. If you don't like it, you can substitute with other things. You can use different Greek yogurt, you can use plain Greek yogurt. You could use a homemade butterscotch pudding that you mix in for flavor, or some caramel sauce that you made. And some regular whipped cream. That's totally your prerogative. I'm doing this for low calorie, ease, and simplicity in my afternoon snack. So that's what I'm going for. So let's see. This is mixing up nice and thick, which is exactly what I want in a dip. So let's see how this turned out. Ooh, that's really good. I could use like another half a tablespoon if I wanted to be a little bit sweeter, but I don't really want it to be too sweet. So that's enough for me. And then let me try it with one of my apple slices. I'll rinse these off, but let's see. Yeah, it's giving fluffy caramel apple dip. So that's great. High protein, fiber in the apple. I'm gonna add some strawberries, fiber in the strawberries, and then a little something fun in there to make it taste really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and package this up and my snack will be ready to go for the day. I have the vegetables over here for dinner. So we have potatoes, onions, and carrots that I have cut up. I washed the potatoes and then I just put a little bit of, this has avocado oil on it, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and I just kind of scattered that all over. This is ready to put in the oven in just a minute, but the oven's full with lunch stuff. So I'm heating up this pan for the chicken thighs. The chicken thighs are right here. Now chicken thighs are not a super lean poultry. They have a lot of fat on them. So you can make this with a chicken breast. We had thighs, so that's what we're making. Plus they hold, like they're much more moist than a chicken breast. And I'm going to put these in the pan with oil, and then I'm gonna roast them to finish cooking them. So the more moist they can be, the better. Sorry about my dog, Daisy. No ma'am. So this is getting hot. I'm gonna go ahead and just put the chicken thighs in here. And I'm going to wait until these start to like brown and kind of sizzle, and then I'm gonna flip them over. And then once they're like seared really well on both sides, I'm actually going to take this out of the oven, because I'm about to put this in the oven. Take this out of the oven, move the onions over, and then I'm gonna put the chicken in the middle of the pan. All right, so it's time to put the chicken in the pan. So I've gone ahead and done that. I just pushed the onions and carrots aside, stuck that chicken on the side. As you can see, it's browned from the pan, and it's time to go back into the oven and finish roasting it. We have roasted chicken, carrots, onions, and some potatoes. Nice, easy, simple ingredients. I am going to have dessert tonight, so I'll check back in with you and let you know my totals once I have dessert. We've made it to the end of the day. I have showered, as you can see, and I'm ready for dessert because I have finished dinner. So I want to go over my day, but before I do, I'll show you my dessert. So this is a no sugar added chocolate Jello pudding that I've mixed up with regular 1% milk. But if you want it to be higher in protein, you could use something like a Fairlife milk. And then I put a tablespoon of no sugar added Cool Whip on top, a tablespoon of shredded coconut, and a tablespoon of Lily's chocolate chips. So that is my dessert, and I'm gonna eat that as soon as I'm done talking to you. But let's go over the day just to see if I hit my goals. So, and just another reminder, I don't make these videos for you to copy step by step because everyone has different dietary needs and goals. Even if we're the same height and similar in age, we might need different amounts of food per day and different protein goals and different fiber goals just based on our lifestyles. So follow what your doctor and your dietitian have set for you. But if there's something in here that you like, feel free to take that and be like, oh, that recipe looks good. I'd like to eat, work that into my plan. But please don't copy me step by step because even for me, every single day is different. It's based on how active I am and what my hunger cues are. And so some days I eat a little bit more, some days I eat a little bit less. And that's just the way that it is. So with that said, this morning's breakfast was a hearty one. It was full of protein. It was actually a very large breakfast for me. So that was 503 calories, 60 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber. 60 grams of protein, one egg white, a turkey sausage, and then I mixed in a serving of cottage cheese into the eggs. So yeah, and then I had fruit with that. So lunch was 301 calories. That was the meal prep bowls that I made with the sweet potato, roasted chicken, broccoli, and bell peppers. That was 301 calories, 30 grams of protein, 7 grams of fiber. My snack was the butterscotch dip that I made for fruit. So it was Greek yogurt with a tablespoon of no sugar added butterscotch pudding powder, mixed that in with some no sugar added Cool Whip. And then I served that with a gala apple and some strawberries. That was 272 calories, 15 grams of protein, 7 grams of fiber. Dinner was roasted chicken thighs, roasted carrots, onions, and potatoes. That was 468 calories, 37 grams of protein, and 4 grams of fiber. And then dessert is the pudding with these toppings on it. That's 265 calories, 1 gram of protein. Now, if this was Fairlife, it would be higher, but 1 gram of protein, 4 grams of fiber. So that brings my total for the day to 1,782 calories. So I hit my calorie goal. On a moderately active day like today, I try to get somewhere between 1,600 and 1,800 calories. So I'm right there. I'm happy with that based on the activity level I had today. And then I had 143 grams of protein, so I hit my protein goal. My doctor and my dietitian set a protein goal for me based on my lifestyle and the fact that I am trying to go through body recomposition and build muscle. And my protein goal is 140 to 150 grams per day. That is quite high for many women my age, so that's probably not your goal. Talk to your doctor and a dietitian to create one for yourself based on your needs and lifestyle. I don't hit that most days. It's something I struggle with. I'm usually closer to like the 120 to 130 range, and I'm just reaching for that goal. But I hit it today, so yay. And then I had 28 grams of fiber, which is above my goal for that as well. So I managed to check off all 3 of those things. I don't do that every day. It's always exciting when I do. I feel like I accomplished something. So I'm really proud with how today went. And now I'm gonna go take this dessert and eat it up. And I hope that you have a great rest of your night. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe so that you don't miss my next video. Bye-bye.